Staff. Mike is the campaign manager. We have amazing young staffers and volunteers, some who have been working with our campaigns since the very beginning. So let's give them a round of applause for all the work. I am so grateful to all of you for giving up time on your Saturday to come here to show your support for the Republican ticket. 38 days until we fire Nancy Pelosi. And the stakes could not be higher, folks. As I've talked to many of you here today, we are seeing the result of Democrat one-party rule in Washington and in Albany, and it has been a disaster. It is crisis after crisis. I will tell you, no matter where I go in the district, inflation is crushing families. You go to the grocery store, as you're working to balance your family budgets, it is getting harder and harder to make ends meet, and that is a direct result of the trillions of dollars of reckless spending that Democrats have paid of our hard-earned taxpayer money. Inflation is a tax on every single family, and we absolutely are committed to reining it in a Republican majority. The price of gas, the price of diesel, home heating bills, it's out of control as well. It's because on day one, Joe Biden essentially declared war against American energy production. We are committed as Republicans to unleashing American energy production and independence to lower our utility costs, our gas prices, our diesel prices, and home heating prices. And then we have the border crisis. That is a catastrophe. And every border, every state, every community is a state and border community because what happens on the southern border impacts everywhere across the United States of America. In our very district, I represent Northern Border Patrol officers who have been transferred over and over and over again to the southern border. That creates uncertainty for their families and a huge, huge amount of stress. Plus, it takes away the resources we need at our northern border. And I've been so proud to be a voice for not only securing the southern border, but for northern border issues as well, to fully reopen with no vaccine mandate. That is so important for our local tourism, our local economies, and we just got that done with the elimination of the ArriveCan app this week. So that's a very specific result that we were proud to just deliver. And then, of course, the crime crisis. We are seeing this across the United States, but also specifically in the state of New York. Violent crimes are skyrocketing, and this is a result of the defund the police policies and rhetoric from far-left Democrats in Albany, and we absolutely must always back the blue and support our law enforcement. I will always back the blue. All of these candidates I'm here with. We are crisscrossing the district, as I said, 38 days this morning. I was with some of you at the North Country Honor Flight send-off, which is always just an incredibly humbling and amazing event. This district has more veterans than any other district in New York State, and my office and I am so honored to work every day to do our very best to get VA benefits and to improve the quality of life, health care, transportation, mental health for all of our heroes in our communities. I also wanted to note, last week, House Republicans unveiled our commitment to America. So this is our agenda, when we earn the support of the American people to win back the House. And there are 4 themes. The first is an economy that's strong. So getting our economy back on track, reining in the reckless spending, moving towards balanced budget to stop inflation, making sure that our supply chain and our manufacturing is here in America and not in China. Our second key pillar is a nation that's safe. I talked about the crime crisis. We are committed to providing support for over 200,000 more police officers across the country and to go after radical DAs who are prioritizing the criminals rather than law-abiding citizens. Our third theme is a future that's based upon freedom. Our constitutional liberties are under attack, whether it's the Second Amendment, which is under attack in New York State and the federal level, and certainly that's on the ballot this November. I'm proud to have earned an A+ for my Second Amendment positions. My opponent has earned an F, and boy does he deserve it. And we support the Second Amendment in this district, and I know that our Second Amendment and constitutional voters are going to come out big this election. And our fourth pillar is a government that's accountable. Joe Biden is a corrupt, incompetent president. His cabinet secretaries have refused to respond to all of our outreach, all of our requests for documents, and it is our job as members of Congress to have oversight over these agencies. They work for the American people, and we are elected by the American people. So we will hold the Biden administration accountable. The subpoenas are coming on day one. The American people deserve transparency, and they deserve answers, and they deserve results, and they are not getting results from this administration. So thank you for being here today. I also want to introduce some of the other candidates who are working so hard this election cycle. I want to start off at introducing our state senator, Dan Steck.
Well, hello everybody, it's great to be here. I want to echo a lot of what Elise just said. She's been dealing with one-party rule these last few years in DC, and we all see every night on the news what that's doing to our country. There's a similar story happening in Albany, one-party rule. In 2018, the Senate flipped, and now the Democrats control all the levers of power in Albany. And what have we seen since 2018 to 2022? The state's budget went from $173 billion to $224 billion. Now, these are big numbers, and the average person is like, all right, that's a big number, but to put some context on that, first of all your local governments are under a 2% tax cap. By my math, 173 to 224 in 4 years is a lot more than 2%, so certainly Albany is not leading by example. But more, I think, obscenely, is that the state budget is more than that of Texas and Florida combined. Texas and Florida both have more people than the state of New York, yet we have a larger budget than Texas and Florida's combined because we're throwing money away. A couple of years ago, $2.5 billion for unemployment benefits for illegal immigrants. Why are they coming here? Because we're giving stuff away. All right, and what's happening? 300,000 New Yorkers have left. Our Second Amendment rights are under attack. I've been a proud supporter. I've had the NRA endorsement every time I've run for office, but I'm proud this year there were 2 state legislature candidates that earned an A+ rating. Just voting for, 402A will get you an A. You got to really step above and beyond to get an A+, as Elise has earned. Myself and Senator Rob Ort from Niagara County were the only 2 candidates on the ballot that earned an A+ rating because I've been speaking up on the floor opposing the lunacy of having to put a sign in a store window to tell you whether or not you can carry a gun there, or whether you could go in the Adirondack Park and carrying a gun because that was illegal in the law, or whether reenactors carrying muskets can go to a reenactment and not have to worry about breaking law. Now, are police officers looking to arrest those people? I certainly think 99.99% of them are not, but the risk here is that you've got a way where somebody's going to have an accident, there will be a lawyer, there will be a lawsuit, it'll go to court, and the issue then will be these reenactors held an illegal event. And so that's the risk here. But the bigger risk to our democracy is the legislature passes a bill and the governor signs it. That's how we make law. If the governor's embarrassed because she didn't write the bill correctly and no one read the bill correctly, and then after the fact they realize, holy smokes, we really did something stupid by making reenactors felons, or making people that live in the Adirondacks felons, the way to fix that law is with more legislation. You can't fix a law by issuing a press release. Trotting somebody out to the microphone and saying that's not what the law says does not cut it in court, it does not cut it with the district attorney, and yet that is what passes for lawmaking in Albany under one-party rule. So I'm going to stand up and for the process. I'm going to make sure it's transparent. When it comes to executive overreach, Governor Hochul, with her pay-for-play allegations with money for the testing and $300,000 in campaign contribution, that kind of story makes Governor Cuomo look like a choir boy. Yeah. So we've got our work cut out for us. We need to we need to elect Lee Zeldin as our next governor.
Yeah.
We need to break up the one-party monopoly that we're seeing here that is crushing us and driving our kids away to go to someplace that they can afford to live and afford to find a job and do good for their own families. We need to stop that flow of our talent and our people from the state, and they're not running because of bad weather, they're running because of bad regulations and overtaxation and bad business opportunity. That's the fight that I've been doing for 10 years in the legislature, for 2 as your senator. I ask for your continued support, and all I want in the next 38 days is please take those red signs and put them next to the white signs, and let's pepper this town red, and let's re-elect Elise, re-elect myself, let's elect Lee Zeldin. We got some great judge candidates, you're going to hear from them, but we've got a great ticket, I'm proud to be on it, and I'm really thrilled with the work that Elise has been doing for us in the district and as importantly, on the national level, sticking up for our country and our freedoms and the direction that we need to be going in. Thanks, Elise.
In addition, one of our state assembly candidates, because I have multiple assembly districts in my congressional district, is Stefanik-Chilton.
Yeah.
He is running in this district right here. He has been working so incredibly hard. I've appeared at many events for him. He's been very active in support of our correctional officers as well as our law enforcement, standing up for constitutional issues. So, Stephen, come on up.
One-party rules definitely hurt in New York State. As a UPSer, I talk to many people around the communities. I've delivered from Franklin County, Essex County, Clinton County. The same old story from everybody that I talk to. The governor's hurting the people of New York. People are leaving, as Elise said and Dan said. You know, record-breaking budgets in New York State, and all that burden is just going to fall on each and every one of us. I'm here to put a check on Kathy Hochul, and my opponent has advocated for her. He still has endorsed her candidacy. He's hurting our law enforcement, our COs, rising inflation, hurting everyday citizens. You know, I want to cut taxes. Your property taxes are through the roof. Education, that's another thing I'd like to talk about. You know, we saw that with the vaccine mandates and all that. We didn't have any control here. Parents didn't have a say over their kids. You know, I want to change that too. Kathy Hochul is overreaching. We want to put a check on that. So I hope people support our campaign. We are working hard. We are a grassroots campaign. And we're definitely going to put a check on Kathy Hochul.
We now have a number of amazing judge candidates. So at the top of the ballot will be our Supreme Court judge candidates, and their districts are almost as large as my congressional district. And I can tell you, we see them everywhere, whether it's county fairs, whether it's small businesses or events like this. I want to start off with Allison McGahee, who you know. She is from Essex County, Lake Placid.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
I can't hear. Oh, thank you, thank you. Hi, I'm Allison. Yes, I live in Lake Placid with my husband Bill, who's here, my campaign manager, and my 2 kids. And coming to Plattsburgh is a trip to the big city to go to the mall and Target. But I also have a lot of connections here to Clinton County. My sister, my brother, my nieces, my nephews, and my brother-in-law, who I think Stephen, you met my brother-in-law at Altona, right?
I
The
did.
correction officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, he was very happy to have met you. So my family members live here, but also in my practice as an attorney over the last 17 years, I have practiced in every level of court here in Clayton County. Whether it was town court, city court, county court, family court, surrogate court. I've practiced in every one of them. I've also had the honor of working with Hunter at the Board of Elections. For the last 10 years, I was the Republican Election Commissioner for Essex County, so we worked hand in hand. I'm proud of my work in public service. For 17 years as an attorney, 15 of them have been in public service, and I'd be honored to continue to do that for you in this role, and I'm asking you for your vote, and I'd love to meet with all of you. Thanks so much.
Great job, Allison. Our next Supreme Court judge candidate is Chris Obstarzik. He is also running in this district from Saratoga County, which is included in this district, but this is a really, really important one to vote for Chris on the Republican line. Chris, come on up.
So this is an 11 county seat. So you have, it starts Saratoga, Schenectady, Montgomery, Fulton, Hamilton, Franklin, Essex, Clinton, Warren, and Washington. So it's a huge seat. I'm from Saratoga County. I've been a practicing attorney for 22 years in civil litigation as a trial attorney, handling cases from product liability to maritime to contract litigation, real estate litigation, medical malpractice, divorce, matrimonials, custody litigation. So I have the experience. I've been trying cases my entire career. But let's start, why we're here. We're here for a rally. The red wave starts with me. It starts with you. We have to get out the vote, right? This is an important election, from the top of the ticket all the way down. And what does it mean, getting out the vote? It's word of mouth. It's texting people. It's, we're all on our phones, right? And it's easy to text 20, 30 people in your contacts about getting out to vote. Emails. So we really need a big turnout. Now this is generally a red district, for our seat. But just let me impress upon you one thing. So, there's 3 lines in this election. There's the Democrat line, there's a Republican line, and there's the conservative line. So this year, there are 2 Democrats on the conservative line that don't necessarily share your values. So it's very important this year, at least for the judicial races, to vote on the Republican line. Because, we're all here to get Republicans elected, and when Republicans elect Republicans, Republicans get elected. So, when Republicans vote for Republicans. So that's the one message, if you can take home and spread, is to stay on the Republican line this year. So thank you.
So remember, vote on that Republican line for Chris. One of our other Supreme Court judge candidates, because you're able to vote for all of these on the ballot, also from Saratoga County, but includes this district, is Judge Rich Kupferman.
All right.
Thank you for having me here today. I can generally speak where people can hear me. I just want to elaborate on what Chris and everyone else has said. This year is extremely important to get the vote out. We all talk about the red wave, but it starts with me, starts with my family, starts with you, starts with our friends. Won't do us any good to think we're going to win if we don't get our people out to vote. My history, I took an oath over 10 years ago to uphold the Constitution of the state of New York and the United States. I'm known as a judge who follows the law. Lately, I've been getting laws that don't make a lot of sense, and I'm not afraid to write decisions and point out their inconsistencies and or their deficiencies. I won't get into any of the particulars, but I can assure you, as a judge and as someone who spent 10 years at the legislature writing laws, those words on the page matter. The words on the Constitution matter. And judges, in particular, this year, now more than ever, need to follow the law. They need to be critical of the law. They have to be fair. You need judges that share your values. I got into this race, I wasn't planning on running this year, but with everything that's happening in this state and on the national level, a decision was made within my family. My son's here, my family supports me on this. This is not an easy run, as everyone will tell you. But now more than ever, we need people with our values deciding these cases. So I urge you all to get your friends out and go with what we're talking about. This red wave can be real. It will be real. But it all starts with us. So I ask you for your support in the next 38 days. It's from someone who spends a lot of time in this district. I've sat in 9 of the 11 counties that comprise of this district, and every county is a little bit different. But as someone who loves to hike, this is the push to the summit. We really need to get out there, and it's hard work. I know from at least the other judicial candidate, we're crisscrossing. We're going to be, I don't know what their schedules are, but I know I'm going back towards Saratoga, and I'm going to end up in Ticonderoga tonight. So,
we all will be in time.
Right, we'll all be in time. We were out last night doing signs, my son and I, until 11 o'clock at night. Luckily, he didn't get hit by a car. But it's that type of commitment that I know I've shown, my family's shown, dedication to get out there, and all I can ask of you is to please support us and get your friends out to do the same. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Rich. I want to thank our county legislators who are here. Mark, who is chairman of the Clinton County Legislature. Calvin, who is behind the camera today, but is also a Clinton County legislator. It was great to see you, as always, at the legislature. So So 38 days to go. I will tell you, since becoming a mom, Sam turned 1 the end of August. It energizes me because that's what's at stake, is the future of our country. So we need to, oh, and he's letting Dan hold him. Wow. We need everybody to turn out big and work hard, and it looks like he's looking for mom. So thank you, everybody, for the support. Take yard signs. We're going to do a big group photo outside before people head home, but take signs to put them out in your communities, and we are so, so grateful. Thank you.
Guys, following the group photo